Hey everyone, it's Jeannie, and today I'm sharing this fun flashlight card. It features the pretty pink Posh, Ghost Friends, and Spooky Sky stencil. So the Ghost Friends is actually part of the August release that is happening right now. There is a blog hop going on with a ton of inspiration using items from the release. I will have my blog linked down below so you can check it out, and there's also a giveaway and prizes, so be sure to check it out for inspiration. And then I pulled the Spooky Sky stencil from last year's release because I thought it was the perfect complement for this card. I decided to use all the Ghost Friends from the stamp set. I wanted to fit as many as I could, and I was able to fit all 5 plus sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it on a piece of white cardstock, which will be my template. So it doesn't have to be perfect. As you'll see, I'll be using pencil for the rest of my scene. So I went ahead and drew a box around my Spooky Wishes sentiment, mainly because I wanted the sign to stand out among the night sky. I will be coloring it in a bright orange, and the sky will be a dark blue and purple. Using the Spooky Sky stencil, I'm putting the first layer of the clouds and tracing it in pencil. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a template, so we will be discarding it once we're finished with it. Then next, I am using the bats from the layered stencils, and this time I am moving them around to wherever I please because I just didn't want them behind the ghosts. I didn't want them really behind the clouds. I kind of wanted them standalone among the night sky, and you'll see later they're a bit hard to see but fun when you find them. This is a little different from my previous flashlight card in that I'm using a shaker pocket to help create this, and it makes it a lot easier. So I went ahead and inserted my template into my shaker pocket, and I'm going to use an ultra fine point Sharpie to go ahead and trace my entire scene. That is why we're using that as a template. It's basically creating that scene for us. In my previous flashlight card, which I will link the video to it below as well, so you can see a different way that I created it, I used a stencil. I used Stays On ink because that works on acetate, but I figured that everyone has Sharpies in their stash, so you can pull those out and use them because it works so well, and it's something that you probably already have at home instead of Stays On, which I personally had to go buy when I first made that flashlight card, and I think I've only used it for this purpose. So once I'm done with the template and tracing everything, I'll remove the template and insert a white piece of paper inside, and mainly that's so I can see what I'm coloring, because if I'm coloring on my clear glass mat, I'll see the lines, I'll get confused, so I wanted just a clear picture of everything. I taped it down with washi just to make sure it's in place, it doesn't pop open, but usually you can just like push it down and you'll be able to color and do all the things. So that's what I'm doing. I'm coloring. I am using my Sharpies. These are brush tips Sharpies that I had because I was using them for calligraphy, and they're actually really easy to color with. It's kind of similar to Copic markers or alcohol markers that have a brush tip. The only downside was that I wasn't able to get like a super fine point for the sentiment, but I did it with a light hand and I was able to get that written nicely. So for the night sky, I decided to do a mix of blue and purple. The purple kind of blends well with the blue because it picks up the blue and kind of like mixes it and blends it, but the blue after the purple kind of creates harsh lines. And I only picked 2 colors because I wanted a bit of interest. I didn't want just all blue, like solid blue. So I wanted to add a bit of purple inside, and later you can't really see it unless you like look really closely, but I think it adds a cool effect. So I'm just going to go ahead and color up my entire background. The last time I created the flashlight card, I actually used Copic markers, and the Copic markers are alcohol markers, right? So they kind of move on acetate. It kind of looked really streaky, whereas the Sharpies actually look really smooth, and I am so happy with it. Once I finished coloring everything up, I had free-handed a flashlight, and I did this last time too. I just free-handed it because I just don't have a flashlight stamp, so I did a really simple one using ruler, and that's how I normally create my like scene cards and images that I need. I use a ruler to help me create them. So I did it in pencil first as a guideline, and then I went in with a Copic friendly pen just to outline everything, and then I'll color it up with Copic markers. I did the pencil line for the ray of light as well, and keep in mind if you color with Copic markers over pen, it kind of traps the color underneath and you can't erase the pencils. And so I probably should have drawn the lines a little bit outside of what I wanted, but I ended up just cutting it off when I fussy cut the flashlight out. So I'll just cut like right against the line so you don't see the pencil lines. So I just went ahead and cut that out once I was done, and I have this little flashlight that you will use to kind of go ghost hunting basically on my card. So here we go, we have a flashlight, and to put this card together, I'll remove that white piece of paper inside and I will trim off the bottom release paper of the shaker pocket because you don't need it. You need it open for the flashlight to go inside. So I'll push in my black cardstock. It's just plain black cardstock, and then I'll adhere the 3 sides to the black cardstock. You just want to make sure that it is nice and snug so the acetate will lie flat against the black cardstock. And here we go. You use the flashlight to slip in between the shaker pocket and the black cardstock, and the flashlight shines a light on the little scene you created, and you can go ghost hunting for all the ghosts that you added to the scene. This is a super fun and easy card that you can create with your kids or for yourself with supplies readily available at home. If you have Sharpies, if you don't have acetate, you can use clear packaging that you receive in the mail. There's always a ton of it. And if you don't have stamps or stencils or any of the things that I use, you can trace from a coloring book, or you can freehand a whole scene and have your kids create that, and you can put this together. It's such a fun thing to play with, and I can't help but play with it. And for the flashlight, you can just tape it inside the card. It'll be one of those interesting cards that someone receives and it's like, what the heck am I supposed to do with it? And then they open the card and there's a flashlight inside, and you can pull it out and use it. So that's it for today's card. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye!